So we have got a Spyderco here that is fresh from the factory. This one has just been released within the last week or so, and this is the Charisma. This is an extremely lightweight carry option here. It's in CTS BD1N steel, so kind of a mid-range steel. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. So we've got a really nice little package here. There's no real, it's pretty smooth. We got a nice groove here for grip, but there's no aggressive jimping or anything anywhere. This is not, I don't think this was intended to be a hard use knife. I think this was meant to be a small, lightweight, kind of light use, almost borderline like a not fancy gentleman's carry, like a little pen knife. And I think it's probably one of the better options out there for that. This is made in the U.S. factory. So this is a U.S.-made Spyderco. It is an Eric Glesser design. And I just thought it was really interesting. This is an interesting kind of different design from Spyderco. When I saw this one was announced, I think this one was announced it was a couple announcements ago. I want to say it might have been Reveal 19, but one that just really interested me for some reason. It's a lockback. I don't shy away from lockbacks. I love Delicas, and it's just such a nice small little knife. So we've got just an under 3-inch blade and just right around 6.5 inches overall. Again, there is no jimping, but you can still get a nice full 4-finger grip on it. It holds in the hand plenty well. We've got this reversible deep carry wire pocket clip and a very, very simple construction. The screws are one-sided, so they must be captive in there somehow. Maybe there's some barrels embedded into that FRN. We're going to take it apart and take a look. One of the other significant things about this knife is how incredibly thin that blade stock is. So at the thickest point, I think we're looking at right around 1 millimeter. Yeah, just over 1 millimeter at the thickest point of the blade. That is crazy. Let's look at the thickness behind the edge on this one. For whatever reason, I prefer thickness behind the edge in thousandths of an inch. That's just what my reference for those is mentally. So we're looking at 15 thousandths behind the edge, not the thinnest behind the edge that we've seen on some thicker overall blade stock knives, but for a Spyderco knife, that is pretty thin behind the edge, but we've got some extremely thin blade stock overall. So that's going to give it some really nice low friction, really high performance slicing ability. But again, this probably wasn't intended to be a hard use knife, but it is plenty solid. We've got a 100% solid lockup on it. It does not have liners. It is just the FRN, which is that injection fiberglass reinforced nylon that is in all of the lightweight models. But again, very thin, no jimping, but you still kind of get locked in pretty well with the way that these grooves are set up here in the handle. It doesn't feel slippery. It still feels like you can get a good grip on it. The finish on the blade is you can still see the milling pattern ever so slightly. I believe that's those side lines that you can kind of see there. I can get that reflection. Here we go. Those up and down lines. And it's not a bad finish. It looks like they put a light stone wash over that. And so the action on this guy, it's not drop shot, and something tells me it will break in. You got to really make sure you're pushing down all the way on the back of that lock bar, and you can kind of give it a good, but it's still not coming. You got to give it a little help there with the finger, and then it'll shut there. Spidey flick, you're going to have to be good with a Spidey flick to be able to flick this guy. I can't even lock it all out, and I'm pretty good with the Spidey flick. You could probably tune it up. I have kind of messed with it a little bit before this. Let's see, I'm trying to get a limited space here, but if I give it some good wrist, there we go, I can get a flick on it. But I don't need the Spidey flick one. I can still open and close it one hand, slow roll it very well. This is probably going to be a love it or hate it. This comes in so lightweight. I believe this is less than 1 ounce on this guy. I think it's like 0.8 or 0.9, somewhere right around there. So that is going to be extremely small lightweight carry. Like this is just about a little over the width and length of just my pointer finger, and so we can slide this in a pen pocket. This could be a very slim, discreet style carry knife. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on inside here. I think we've got T8 on the pivot and T6 on that one body screw. We've got the clip, a body screw, and the pivot. And on the clip side, we don't even have that body screw. So it's probably going to be an embedded barrel in there. All right, we've got our screws out, and then probably just need to give this a little bit of help coming apart. Just gonna get in there with the calipers and give it a little gentle, give it a little bit of help open there. I do want to be careful with this because I'm not sure how much of these little internal pins. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Okay, so we've got, there's our internal construction. So we've got those embedded screws there. There's for the pocket clip there. This one back here is the lanyard hole. We've got that one body screw. Very nice. Interesting. What is this little guy here? Let's see, now that we could probably... Stop pin. Okay, so that acts as the stop pin right here, and that is just embedded in there internally. So we've got a little internal stop pin there. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because normally on the Delicas, this little protruded part comes up to here, but I guess the way to get all of this fit together in such a small package, that is what they came up with. Interesting. Very cool. All right, let's throw it back together. Just throw that on there. Our pivot screw and clip screw appear to be the same. I'm going to just start in the middle. With those kind of embedded like barrels in there, they kind of just stop out. Like the pivot did need a little bit of tuning, of course, but that middle screw that just has that embedded kind of, the barrel is embedded into the handle scale. It just kind of dead ends. It doesn't give you a lot of room to mess around with needing to tune it and such, which is nice. I don't mind that at all. And I'll say, I do enjoy the construction of this one. This is way easier than a Delica. You know, well, let me not speak too soon. It's not all back together yet. Wow, this little pivot tool is kind of a pain. I wish I would have just gotten my regular bit driver. All right, now we are looking good. All right, action's not bad on this guy. You know, it's a backlock. It's not quite as smooth as a Delica without those washers, but it's just fine. The action isn't anything to write home about, but it's a really nice, really small package. And the other thing, this blade can get a good bit of flex on it, which is pretty crazy there, how much flex you can get on that blade. That's pretty interesting. So pretty cool, really thin knife. This one, I enjoy it. This is gonna be a nice throw in your pocket and forget about it. Super lightweight carry, maybe like a casual office carry thing like that. But anyway, I hope you found this one interesting. Thank you for watching.